As next moves go, this was not hard to predict. Hot on the heels of the spectacularly well-received D3 diesel saloon in this state, Alpina has now turned its attention to petrol-powered coupe and convertible versions of BMW's 3 and 4 Series platform, and this, the B4, is the result. It costs almost exactly the same as an M4, produces almost as much power from the same capacity twin-turbo 3-liter BMW motor, and has a curb weight within a couple of bags of sugar of an M4, when also fitted with a paddle-shift transmission. It also has a 0 to 62 miles per hour within a tenth of a second of an M4's. You'd be forgiven for wondering if the biggest difference between them is the letter that starts their names. But as with all things Alpina, the devil remains in the detail. With its usual spectacular thoroughness, Alpina's 50 development engineers, a statistically negligible number to any normal manufacturer, have taken a 435i Donner car and gone through its engine, gearbox, cooling system, wheels, tires, aerodynamics, steering and suspension. For a company making just 1,500 cars a year, this is an extraordinary commitment. Power from the N55 motor rises from 306 bhp to 404 bhp, thanks in the main to the replacement of its twin-scroll turbo with a pair of puffers, one either side of the engine and working in parallel. And while this is not quite so strong as the twin-turbo 431 bhp S55 motor and the M4, its 442 pounds-feet of torque is more than commensurately stronger than the 405 pounds-feet offered by the M4. It's kept the 8-speed CF automatic transmission, disappointingly, and unlike the M4, no manual is available, but modified over 20% of its components for faster, cleaner shifts. On the chassis side, everything, springs, roll bars, dampers, bushes, bump stops, has been changed, but the overall strategy was to increase the springing medium by 40% while allowing more damping compliance in bumps and lessen rebounds. Alpina's iconic 20-inch wheels, fitted with Michelin Pilot Sports developed specifically for the car, and vast Brembo brakes complete the picture. Note, however, that Alpina still does not provide a limited slip differential as standard. It needs it less than a D3, but it still needs it, and, at £1,890, it is eye-wateringly expensive. Expect the savage road warrior, however, and you're going to be very disappointed by the Alpina B4. Despite its menacing quad-pipe Akrapovic exhaust system, the engine starts quite softly and turbine smooth. The ride seems a little fussy at first until you realize you're hearing more than you're feeling. Despite licorice proportions, those sidewalls are actually 20% softer than a standard Michelin of this size. If you leave the dampers in their default setting, you can waft around all day in quiet and comfort. This has always been a key component of the Alpina proposition, and it's here again, front and center. Nail the throttle, though, and you'll find another side to its character altogether, as in one silken wallop, it flings you up the road. The engine note is as smooth as a 1980s 2-liter 6-cylinder BMW, its thrust nibbling into junior supercar territory. The gearbox is good enough to make you wonder why BMW insisted on a double-clutch transmission for the M4, and the overall performance package so strong yet civilized it could be a cage fighter with the first in fine art from Cambridge. These standards are almost, but not quite matched by the chassis. The good news for skid scholars is that with the limited slip differential in place, the B4 is beautifully balanced, nicer by far on and over the limit than the far more aggressive M4. Perhaps more relevantly, ditching BMW's horridly squidgy wheel for a firm rim replacement provides far better feel. The B4's weakness is in its damping, which, for serious work, needs to have some of the bump dialed back in again. This is a fine handling car, and there was always going to be a price to pay for that secondary ride quality, but there is just a touch too much body movement when traveling fast on difficult roads, a characteristic likely only to be exacerbated by anyone taking it to the track. The Alpina B4 Biturbo, then, is mightily tempting. The B4 over-delivers on the promise of both its looks and what we now expect from Alpina. Its real skill is to provide a wider breadth of ability than any BMW, using the same shell without contriving to be a jack of all trades. It is damn near as fast as an M4, easier to drive, quieter and more comfortable, and while undoubtedly less exciting, ultimately no less satisfying at all. If it is undone, it is not by the M4 but its own in-house rival, the diesel-powered D3, a car certain shortly to be available in coupe D4 form. What little the D3 loses in performance it more than recovers in torque, range and running costs, qualities that might make it less of a BMW but even more of an Alpina. Alpina B4 Biturbo, price £58,950, 0 to 62 miles per hour 4.2 seconds, top speed 188 miles per hour, economy 37.2 miles per gallon, CO2 177 grams/km, curb weight 1,615 kilograms, engine 6 cylinders, 2979 cc, twin sequential turbos. Power 404 bhp at 5,500 to 6,250 revolutions per minute, torque 442 pounds-feet at 3,000 to 4,000 revolutions per minute, gearbox 8-speed automatic.